going on YouTube? It's your boy Humble Warrior, back with another video. I know it's actually been a while. I actually been doing my short videos. I give a shout out to the ones who have subscribed. I appreciate all the love. Trying to come up with more content. It's not really easy making videos all the time. That's why I make the short videos, because they seem like that's what more people want to see. But then I wanted to do that video for that reason, then for two. So I made a video 11 days ago talking about how the league is basically alienating Tua. And I was thinking today as I was walking to my car, I've come to a self-conclusion that the league, in a sense, kind of fears him because he's a lefty, and because even though he's not the most wilding type of player, he still does go out there and get the job done. I was looking over his stats this past season. He only had 3 bad games in terms of QBR. The rest of them was way above 50. So he was way above average in almost every single game he played. And then he had 7 games in which he had over 100 plus rating. In 7 games, 7 out of 13 games, he had over 100 plus rating, which is damn good. That's way more than half of the games he played. He was consistent, and he played at an elite level. So it goes to show you, when he actually is healthy, he can play. Now, the what if factor is really getting on my nerve, because now it's like people have to come up with a narrative as to, if he succeeds, oh, this is why. You know, last season it was Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Now, mind you, he already had Jalen Waddle his sophomore campaign. Jalen Waddle's a rookie then. So he didn't naturally succeed because of Waddle. Now, Hill was an added piece, but Tua had to get in the ball. I don't know why people make it seem like it was all because of Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill could have been taking passes from anybody and any quarterback on that roster. However, you saw the difference in impact with Tua and without Tua. You saw how the offense clearly was ran. You also saw the production between those two receivers drop astronomically. So this BS narrative about how Hill made him better, no. The only thing Hill did was expand his numbers, because he was at 3,548 yards. Had he played the remaining 3 games that he had, or the remaining 4 games that he had left, he would have went over 4,000 yards easily. Because against the Green Bay Packers, I think he left the game, he was at like 200 or almost 300 yards passing. But that game he threw 3 picks, which sealed the deal for them to lose that game. But he was on pace to throw 300 plus yards in that game before he suffered that concussion. Now, my thing with the NFL is you have to give him his due diligence. His third season was outstanding. He played 13 games, put up 3,500 yards plus, 25 touchdowns, and 8 picks. The 3 interceptions against the Packers, if he don't throw those, he only had 5 picks. Now, people can throw in the mix the Steelers game. Yes, they had 3 potential interceptions they dropped, but they don't count stats for drop picks. So Tua would have had just 5 interceptions on the season with 25 touchdowns passed. Instead, he had 8 because he threw 3 picks in that Green Bay game. But it's not about talking about his past, because to me, he had an outstanding season. Everybody else may look at it as, oh, he had to finish the season. I don't debate that part. He has to finish. He has to play a season. But think about how many quarterbacks that don't do it. But now that's a stigma for him. Jalen Hurts missed 2 games this past season because of his shoulder. But he got applauded for toughing it out eventually and getting out there to get him to the Super Bowl, which solo was not all on him. It was his rushing attack, and the fact that A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith were getting chunk yards. So it wasn't like he was throwing from the pocket with ease all the time. No. It was chunk plays that were getting them down the field. Then they would run the ball a lot, or Hurts himself would run it in. But to his credit, he still had 3,700 yards, 25 touchdowns. I think he had like 8 picks or 9 picks, something like that. And people still try to say that he was better than Tua. To me, he wasn't. The only thing was, I think he threw for like 100 and some more yards. That's about it. Not even 100 something. I think he threw for like, I want to say 1,000 more yards or something like that. Not 1,000. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was on like, at worst case, what, 2, 3, maybe 400 more yards than Tua, something like that. Because his was at 37.01 and Tua's was at 35. So he didn't have a more productive season. He just threw a little bit more yardage, the same amount of touchdowns, but he had 13 rushing touchdowns. People give him credit for that when he's supposed to be a quarterback, not an athlete. But once again, I'm digressing, going to the Hurts thing. With Tua, he will be able to play this season. I think he fully understands now what's at stake. He also understands that, hey, the best ability is availability. I gotta stay on that field. I gotta stay healthy. I gotta avoid taking unnecessary shots or getting my head smashed in by holding on to the ball. You can't make plays from the sideline. If he go back and watch his game film, he'll see that the Packers game, the play he got hurt on, had he let go of the ball, the dude had no reason to even tackle your legs to make you hit the ground. They can't hit you once the ball is out. Now sometimes they try to, but like the Bills game, that linebacker, the ball was cleared out of Tua's hands when he got pushed in the air. But hey, it does happen. He got hurt. It is what it is. But that's the best way to keep yourself on that field. Now, freak accidents do happen, get twisted up or whatever, but rarely do you ever see him get tackled in that fashion. Except for that, I think the Browns game or Houston game where he got folded backwards and scared the shit out of everybody, but he bounced up like it was nothing. Now, we can't have that going on. But that's the best way, like Doug said, to shut his critics up. To me, I'm always going to be his biggest supporter. I'm not here to beat him up. I'm here to always lift him up. Now, when he have a bad game, I don't mind saying it. But I don't see him have many bad games this season. I think that he's learned from that. Now, the Kansas City game is going to show a lot. If he could actually go to Kansas City and play at an elite top-tier level, I think a lot of people are going to look at him a lot differently. If you can stand in the ring with Patrick Mahomes, that's going to be opposite of you, and you can put up, I'm not saying you got to put up no 400 yards, because that's ridiculous. Just put up 300, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Have a very, very accurate day where you're running the show, where you got that defense guessing left and right, and y'all manage to hang in there or even win the game. It's going to be a lot of people that's going to come back over to the Tua time train. Do I want that? No, because at the end of the day, the same people that sit there and put him down when he does have an astronomical day, or when he do put up incredible numbers, they want to come back to oh yeah, it's Tua time, baby. No. Stay on the other side. Stay on the side when you were saying all this other BS about him. Or when he has a bad game, now you want to come back out. Well, that's the Tua I know. He's gonna fuck it up. Stay on that side. Because to me, every quarterback will have a bad game or two. That's human nature. There's no such thing as perfect games. You may have 1 or 2 where you're on point, or you may have a streak, but because you have a bad game or 2 bad games, now you're the worst damn quarterback in the league. Stop it. He's clearly right now a top 15 quarterback, hands down. He's working his way into the top 10. His stats show that he was a top 10 quarterback, but people don't want to give him that credit because they feel like as though last season was a fluke. Like, oh, well, he just did it because of Tyreek. No, you dumbass. The system he was in, the players that was in that system, was just like that of what he had at Alabama. Now, people may say he had a track meet. He did, but guess what? He had to get in the ball. Jalen Hurts had that same amount of talent in Alabama. What happened? Nothing happened. And then they lose in that championship game to Clemson with that same track meet team. Then Tua beat Georgia with that same team. Yes, he did. So the narrative doesn't fit. Matter of fact, if you think about it, Philadelphia went to the Super Bowl this year to play Kansas City. They had a better defense, but schematically, Kansas City out-coached them and beat them. And at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts may have put up 300-something yards, but if you look at the totality of it, he didn't really have a great game outside those 2 big-ass chunk plays. He had a below-average game. But people give him credit because he ran in 3 touchdowns and had over 300 yards passing. But they call me a hater for that. Or they say I'm jealous. Jealous of what? I mean, it's what the kid did. What he put on tape. But if Tua goes out there in the playoff game, put up 300-400 yards, have 4 or 5 touchdowns, oh, well, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are the cause of that. Yeah, okay. As if that kid didn't go out there and carve up that defense. But, he's not going to get credit for that. That's the only way he loses. He deserves all the credit. When he wins, everybody else got to share that boatload. I don't understand that philosophy. Why is it that when he loses, he takes the boatload of the blame? And when he wins, he wants to share the credit. But the critics, they don't want to give him any credit. They want to distribute it to the other players around him. Make that make sense to me. But, got a season to look forward to coming up. And I look forward to seeing how he's going to look on that field from week 1 to week 18. Tua, I know you're going to do your thing, baby. You're coming for him, as they say in movies. He's coming for you. So just be ready. I want to hear all the excuses, comments, whatever, gripes, complaints, all that stuff. I want to hear it all. That way I can retort all of it. But let me know what you guys think. Peace.